What's up, G.I. Joe fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Museum. I'll be your curator today. And guys, we bring you today one of my personal favorites, a real fun one, all the way from 2001. We bring you G.I. Joe versus Cobra, Duke. And guys, the word fun truly doesn't really state how cool this figure is to me. I picked this figure up at Toys R Us back in 2001. And let's bring this guy in a little bit. Picked him up in 2001 at Toys R Us. And I just thought he was the neatest, coolest G.I. Joe I've seen in quite some time, because there was absolutely no barriers with this figure. And then what I mean by that, I mean basically this figure was just pure fun. There was nothing tying him down to a certain expectation where he's supposed to be a serious figure. He's not a World War II type figure. This figure was more on a cartoonish type level. Pure fun. Definitely kid friendly. This was not meant to be a collectible in any sense of the word. This was for and produced for the younger demographic. This was Hasbro's way of trying to make G.I. Joe a little bit more accessible to the younger demographic by way of just more cool looking features, more weapons, more gizmos. So you're looking at a figure that was more fantasy than anything else, and it's more sci-fi. And I thought that was really awesome. And I thought Hasbro did a great job on this figure. I would have liked to have seen Hasbro do more figures like this. Breath of fresh air. Nothing serious about this figure. All fun. And that's what kind of drew me to him. There's a beautiful picture there of how he looks, more futuristic. You can see our Duke here seems to have a bionic arm, if you will. Really cool feature to this arm, and it's in that position for a reason, and we'll get into that. It comes with these big oversized hands. This was another cool shout out, I should say, to the Hall of Fame era of the 90s, and they kind of brought that back. These big husky body, oversized hands, and just all these new added quirky type features. It was really cool. You see, there's this helmet, and you got a lot of rehashed weapons and accessories with this figure, as we talked about in earlier videos about other G.I. Joes. Hasbro was not beyond, just, hey, going to their stock room and throwing stuff together. And this was a really cool one. He's got his name on his side there, camouflage, green, black, and white camouflage. Beautifully done. Black boots on. Here's this missile. Looks like a missile here. Guys, if you're just joining us, please like and subscribe. This is what we're all about here at M.I.B. Master Museum. We just hang out in our museum and we take requests. We're a museum, but just because we're a museum doesn't mean that we can't have fun, guys. And today we're bringing you our Duke figure from the G.I. Joe versus Cobra line, all the way from 2001. Beautiful head sculpt, and we've seen this head sculpt. This head sculpt has been used on 2 or 3 other Duke figures that we have in our museum collection. I just love that. I can't get over this arm, and that's another thing that attracted me to this figure, because of this unusual arm aspect here. It's bionic, and it clips in there. And I was, at that time, I was looking for, you know, Joes that were different, that had a quirkiness to them. Joes that I hadn't seen, or were unusual, or had an original flavor to them. And this particular Duke figure checked all those boxes. He's got his logo tattoo, if you will, on the side. Let's bring this guy down. Let's get a little closer look at our, get your blown out look. This is a fun G.I. Joe. Price point wise, I believe I paid $18. It came to like maybe $20 for this figure. Not a lot, not back then anyway, especially for a carded figure. But just, you know, all fun and very kid-like for you know, definitely not a collector's choice. So I don't know if a lot of collectors actually got this guy when he came out. Once again, this was another figure that came and went underneath the radar, and the collectors, the G.I. Joe collectors, a lot of us, we didn't pay attention to a lot of those things. So you were really looking for the bigger purchases with the more expensive G.I. Joes, the more deluxe box G.I. Joes and figure sets at that time period. So 2001 was a fun year to be a G.I. Joe collector, because there was just literally so many G.I. Joes, 12-inch G.I. Joes out, all the way from, you know, from exclusives to club exclusives to store exclusives, to your regular base G.I. Joes that, you know, 15 or 20 that would come out every year. So 2001 was just teeming with, you know, G.I. Joes, 12-inch G.I. Joes. And then you had Joes like this. And Hasbro did an excellent job at targeting a lot of the, we talked about that in earlier videos too, targeting, you know, families with low incomes. I mean, they just didn't have the money to spend on a $70 or $80 G.I. Joe, or even a $40 or $50 G.I. Joe. I mean, who had that money to put down on a toy that, you know, your kid probably was gonna break in about 2 weeks, you know? So this was the answer, you know, to that question. And Hasbro, I thought Hasbro did a great job. You know, it's keeping the prices down. Once again, a lot of molded plastic, not a lot of cloth involved here outside of his camouflage pants. That was pretty much it. So it kept the cost down, and yet you still got, you know, a lot of play value out of this figure. Let's turn this guy around. See, let me see. Fires missile from arm launcher, and we'll show you how that actually looks in person on the back. We'll turn this guy around here. We'll set him back up here on this pedestal here. Let's get your blown out look. And guys, once again, I can't say it enough. This is why I can't bring myself to destroy these cards and these boxes, because look what you get on the back here. And look how this is a targeting system that's set up, that his arm has been built into, and it fires a missile. So this is actually fires from his arm, How cool is that? It launches from his arm, so you got a spring activated loaded action, and maybe they'll show us exactly how that works. Here's his accessories list. There's a backstory on him. Ah, here you go. Let's see. Let's get a little closer here. To fire a missile, insert missile into launcher and slide missile back. Pull trigger under forearm to fire. Oh, wow. How cool is that? And here's some more, guys. Collect them all for the ultimate battle. And we have them all for the ultimate battle. We got all of these guys in our museum collection. And some of these guys you've seen reviews on. Nunchuck and Firefly. We haven't done one on Dusty. Not this particular Dusty anyway. We've done a few reviews on some Dusty G.I. Joes that we have in our collection, but not this particular one. Here's Duke's file card. Let's get you a year. Turn this guy around. Oh, there you go. 2001. Guys, what do you think about our Duke? Do you have this guy? Are you looking for this guy? Just a fun figure. I'll show you how cool I like this, how much I really like this figure and how cool he is to me. I keep this particular figure in my main collection room. He's not in our archives. He stays in my main collection room because I just think he is, you know, he epitomizes what growing up in the 1970s meant to me as a kid, to see a figure like this. I wish I had a figure like this. My parents couldn't afford G.I. Joes when I was a kid in the 1970s. So to have something like this, this brings back a lot of memories. It makes me think about the cool G.I. Joes from that time period and all the accessories and the Mike Powers G.I. Joe with the bionic eye and the bionic arm and leg. Just all the cool features. And this is kind of reminiscent. Looking at his arm again, this is kind of reminiscent of that figure, and those type of figures. And just a lot of fun. And guys, we would like to thank you for sharing some time, your precious time, with us today here at our museum. And we have some more fun in store for you. Only thing we ask, guys, is to have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and stay by the TV with the remote and keep us tuned in. And with that being said, guys, you know the routine. God bless. And keep collecting.